For problem 67, we have the same instructions as we had for number 65, which is to evaluate the derivative of this function at this point. And I thought I'd start with the calculator on this one. So typing in secant of t over t is 1 over cosine of x over x. So our x on our calculator is the t on the paper. And if we graph this function, really we want to make sure we've got our window mins and maxes all set. And pi, so the x value or the t value in this case is pi. So I just went from 0 to 2 pi, so pi would be right in the middle. And then the y min and max need to include negative 1/3, about negative 1/3. So I just went from negative 3 to 3. And by looking at the graph, you can see the graph of the function and the second value, x equals pi, is right there. So when x is equal to pi, that's 123.14 is right there, and then the y value is negative 1 over pi. And so we're just trying to figure out what the derivative is right there, which is another way to say of saying what's the slope of the line tangent to the curve at the point right there, or what's the slope of the curve at the point. So all of those mean the same exact thing. So we're going to find the derivative. And we can do it right now as well. So let's go ahead and do that. Second, calculate derivative, which is number 6, dy dx, at the value when x is equal to pi. So when x is equal to pi, we get dy dx is 0.101. So we're going to write that down. So h prime at pi equals 0.101. So that's on the calculator. And let's go ahead and find the derivative by hand. H prime of t. Notice that we have a quotient, so we're gonna find the derivative low d high minus high d low over low squared. So I know I said that in the other one, I didn't write that out. So low is the t, d high is the derivative of the numerator, and the derivative of the secant of t is secant tangent. Secant t tangent t. And then minus high, which is secant t, multiplied by the derivative d low, which is the derivative of the denominator, which is just 1, over low squared, so over t squared. And we could, if we wanted to, we could factor out a secant of t. And do we really need to do that? I don't know. Let's go ahead and find h prime of pi. Let's just plug in pi here. So we have pi times secant of pi times the tangent of pi minus the secant of pi all over pi squared. So that's the h prime of pi at pi. Now what's the secant of pi? Well, the secant is 1 over cosine, so cosine of pi is negative 1, so secant of pi is also negative 1. So we have pi times negative 1. What's the tangent of pi? Well, the tangent of pi is the sine of pi over cosine of pi. Well, the sine of pi is 0, so the tangent is 0. And so all we have left is minus secant of pi, which is negative 1, over pi squared. So we get 1 over pi squared. That was convenient to have the tangent go to 0. So 1 over pi squared, we are hoping that 1 over pi squared is equal to 0.101. So let's check that out and make sure. So 1 divided by pi squared equals 0.101. So there we go. So we know, we are confident that that is the right answer. That's it.